Hello and welcome to another video in my JavaScript tutorial. For this video, this is a really important topic called functions, and it basically underlines everything that you'll be doing in JavaScript, and especially if you get into any other libraries and frameworks such as React, Angular, and Vue. So right now we're going to do functions how it was since the start of JavaScript, and let's not get into the ES6 functions, and I will do a separate video on that. So no masala on any of this, just straight plain functions. So the way you actually create a function first, and I'll talk through what it does, why you do it, and yeah. So I'll just go through the syntax. You have function, then you have the name of the function. Let's say message. Then we have brackets. In these brackets, we have parameters. So parameters, and for now we won't get into it. So I'll just leave it. And we have curly brackets, and this just follows kind of the similar convention to how if-else statements worked and for loops. So yeah. So within this actual block, what happens is that you can write anything in here. You can have a for loop, you can have an if-else statement, you can have anything that you want to execute within the curly bracket. The thing is, this kind of will only execute if you have a message and brackets, and sorry, if you actually call the function. So this is equivalent to calling a function. Basically, what I mean is that this function won't actually run until you kind of call it. This is not calling it, obviously I've removed it, but when I write this, you've called the function. So you've basically told the function to actually execute whatever's inside these curly brackets. So let's just start off with console logging like we've always done, because it's pretty simple and it's easy to understand how everything works that way. So console log hey stranger, just to start things off. And obviously I've removed the calling, so now nothing actually comes up in our console because we haven't called it and we haven't told the function to execute. Now if you have message followed with brackets, because obviously you need to call the function, and I'll tell you why these brackets are actually important. What happens is it actually comes into our console, and therefore because we've told the function to execute, and this line of code is actually executed. So that's it with functions, well, just general functions. But now let's just have a little talk about scoping. So let's have a variable called let a equal hey stranger. This variable cannot actually be used outside the scope of the function. What I mean by that is that it cannot be used outside these curly brackets. So for example, if I want a console.log a, what happens is I get I return an error from the console. A is not defined. Basically, what it means is that this is a local variable and it's only defined within the limits of the function. Therefore, it's only used within the scope of the function. Outside the function, globally, you can't really use it because it's a local variable. However, if let's say we have, let's just invert the roles here, and we have let a equals hey stranger, which is now a global variable. It's not within the constraints of the function. Now it's global, it can be used anywhere. And let's say we want console.log a and call the message return, call the function save. Oops, sorry. It returns as hey stranger. The reason for this is a is of, as I said, a global variable. The function, although it can use local variables, it can also use the actual global variable, so which is outside the function, because it's global for a reason. Let's just say we have a city. Actually no, let's just forget the comparisons, just allow it, just confuse it a little bit more. So let's just have one more example where I actually have let a equals hey stranger. Before I actually save this, just have a little think what it might return to the console. 3, 2, 1. I juked myself. I had both of them as the same thing. So let's have it as hey Salmane. And let's increase the console size a bit. And let's have hey Salmane, which is my name, by the way. And let's have hey stranger. Both are called a. One's a local variable, one's a global variable. What do you think it might console log to the console? 3, 2, 1. It returns hey Salmane. This is because although we have two versions, or one global version and one local version, which both hold different values, the one with the local variable, which is a function, takes precedence. It has a high priority. Let's just think of it like that, because just think of it as it's local, it's closer to us, therefore we'll use that one rather than the global one. But basically it takes precedence. But if this let's say if this was removed, obviously we've seen with the example the global variable would be used. So that's a nice little example of scoping, and the main purpose of it is to just not throw up errors when you have two different variables. Or let's say we have another function and we use a for that for some reason, I don't know why, but it just stops throwing up errors, and that's why we have scoping. It's really important. So yeah, just make sure you're aware of that. So now let's get on to parameters, which I did mention earlier in the video. So let's have parameter as name. Let's just remove this, remove that. Let's have it as hey return by name. So you're just wondering why have name here and why have name here. This is because when we, this is a parameter, and it basically, let's just think of it this way. I'm not sure whether this is true or not, or whether JavaScript was actually works like this, but the way I think of it is, let's call message and let's have my name here, hey Salmane, and we want it to have hey Salmane, but let's say we want to change this to hey I don't know, Ronaldo. So it's just easily mutable, easily changed. So let's just keep it to my name because I'm the better footballer. And now what happens is this becomes our name. Think of it as name is the name of a variable. Well, actually, quite a pun, but name is the name of a variable. Now name is basically declared to the value of a string which has Salmane in it. So now whenever we use name inside the function, name is basically equal to Salmane, so it will return hey Salmane. So let's try that. Obviously it won't change, but yeah, it re-rendered. And yeah, so if I change this now to Ronaldo, hey Ronaldo, change it to Ronaldo 7, it's always going to pretty much change to this. So just think of it as if you've literally written let name equal Ronaldo 7, But anyway, that's what a parameter does. And let's get on to what happens if we haven't actually called it with a parameter. So it's going to return hey undefined because we haven't defined the value of this parameter. So in cases like these, we still want it to come up with something. And I had that example of hey stranger. So let's just name equals stranger. So now whenever we haven't called the function with a parameter, it's going to return hey stranger by default. But if we have my name again, it's going to come up as hey Salmane. It hasn't changed to stranger. It's going to function as normal. A function that functions as normal. See what I did there? But let's move on to one last part. And you might be wondering, okay, one parameter, that's not enough. Let's have two parameters. So let's just do that. Let's have age this time. It's separated by commas. And have age. And we want to return hey plus name. I am plus name plus years older. Let's just scroll back. It's going to return as undefined. Well, what? Hey Salmane, I am. Oh, okay, silly me. So age, yeah, it returns I am undefined. We have the same problem because we haven't actually defined what the parameter for age is. So let's have 17 because I am 17 years old. So it's going to come up as hey Salmane, I am 17 years old because name is equal to Salmane and age is equal to 17. We pass them as parameters. So now since name is equal to Salmane, hey, name is now Salmane, I am age 17 years old. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe. That really means a lot to me and helps the channel grow. And we'll see you in the next video where I'll be going through ES6 arrow function syntax. So please tune into that.